Good morning, everybody. Happy 4th of July, by the way. Happy birthday, America. Happy 247th birthday. If I did the math right. Happy birthday, America, and happy 4th of July. I hope everybody's going to have an amazing day and do lots of fun things and watch a bunch of stuff blow up in the sky. And also remember why we celebrate 4th of July, right? Because we're independent and we're free and it's amazing. So let's celebrate today, okay? That's going to be awesome. So I'm your host. Welcome to Invisible Condition. Jeff Pearson here. We created this show for you because we know that everybody with an invisible condition, they want a voice, they want a community, and they want to know that they're not alone. And you are not alone. That's why we're here. And that's why we have the guests that we do, and that's why we bring on the companies that we do, because we want to foster that community. So today is going to be awesome. Okay, Lori Landin is my guest today, and she's amazing. Lori has experienced many of life's trials, including being diagnosed with an incurable illness. Okay, she sees every trial as a pivotal moment. And this diagnosis was no different, because it led her to become who she is today. And she's thrilled to say that she has been able to conquer this illness naturally. What? Naturally. Okay. Through her many experiences, she's taken to heart a couple key phrases. One of them is, the obstacle is the way, which is awesome. And the other one is, the giver truly is the receiver. And I'm sure those have special meanings that we'll dive into today. But Lori is an international speaker, philanthropist, visionary, the founder of the Lori Landin Foundation, a global nonprofit serving those in need throughout the world. Talking to her was absolutely amazing. You're going to love her. She is a certified challenge consultant, optimal life designer, a board certified health coach, and a certified essential oil coach. So, and in her spare time, right? Lori has a master's degree in music conducting, which I love because I did music in junior high and high school, and I'm still a singer. So I love that part. Extensive experience in music and theater, and is the founder of the Giving Heart Movement, a global movement based on kindness and giving. What is better than that? So let's welcome Lori to the show. She is amazing. I can't wait for you to meet her. Let's see if she's here. Lori, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm just thrilled to be here with you guys.
I am so excited that we've met through the channels that we've met. This is like over the last few weeks or whatever that we kind of connected with Catherine and I and you. It's been absolutely crazy. Like you never know who you're gonna meet and where that's gonna lead and what's gonna.
I know, and it's truly a blessing. The people that are brought into our lives, and this is something I found over these past few years, is there's a reason, there's purpose for everyone.
Exactly.
It just brings goodness and blessings into your life. It's beautiful. It
blows my mind. Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what happens like from here with what we've already started. Like I'm pretty excited. So we'll get to that. We'll get to all that. But so obviously you've accomplished a lot. I mean, my goodness, the first thing you handed me when I met you was a like literally a bound thing with all the stuff going on. So you are busy. You are doing a lot of cool stuff. But you had an incurable illness that you were diagnosed with, right? So what kind of symptoms did you have that led you to think that was something going on, something wrong?
There were a lot of symptoms, and I left it for quite a while, actually. I did. I left it, and I just was coping with it for a while. I mean, symptoms like severe gas and just abdominal pain, bleeding. Yeah. Well, that in itself was huge.
Well, yeah.
And of course, you've got the diarrhea and constipation that comes with the illness I had. And so all of that stuff while I was a music and theater teacher full time was very difficult because, you can't leave the room. You just can't.
Exactly.
It was hard. And I kept most of that to myself during that period, and so I dealt with the symptoms I just put up with it all. And it wasn't a smart idea. I wouldn't recommend that, but I definitely knew there were problems. And I had ideas of what they were and why I had them as I went through that. I began I'm a thinker. I'm one who researches, that's why I've done all the things I've done. I take action and figure things out. And so I was on the process, in the process of figuring it out before I was fully diagnosed.
Okay. What did you figure? I mean, when they diagnosed you, was there anything that you said, I knew it, that's what I thought, or anything, or were you close?
Yeah, I was a little bit. I was. I had researched and found some of the terms that were brought up, and though I had never really fully gotten involved with that kind of an illness before, so I mean, it was new that way. Yeah. But yeah, and the prescription that the doctor gave me, I saw that coming. So,
I mean, they do that a lot sometimes. That's kind of the go-to. Something's ailing you. Let's try this first. So I get it. Yeah. That's fine. But was it kind of a long process, or was it
very quick?
Very, very quick. Once you were like, okay, we're going to get this thing figured out.
Yep. I went in for a sigmoidoscopy. They told me what I had. They went me through another colonoscopy, and from there I was just prescribed.
What was that first oscopy that you told me?
Sigmoidoscopy. And then the colonoscopy is more in depth. It goes further into the body.
Okay. I've never heard that. I've never heard that first term before. So I was like, what did you just say?
I hadn't either, because that's not anything I had looked at doing for myself,
Well, no.
Those aren't things I ever wanted to do. And so it was hard for me to go in that first time, honestly. I was weighing out, do I want to just suffer with what I'm dealing with, or do I really want to go through this? But I'm glad I did, because honestly, having the diagnosis made a difference for me.
And what was that?
Exactly what I needed to figure out.
And what was the diagnosis? What did they say that you, after all the oscopies, what did they?
They diagnosed me with ulcerative colitis.
Okay.
It was written as left-sided ulcerative colitis. At one point, it was written as mild left-sided ulcerative colitis. However, when I look up the definition of mild, moderate, and severe, I was not mild. The symptoms I had were way beyond mild, but that's what they wrote it down as.
And so ulcerative colitis. So I recognize parts of those words. So tell me, kind of for those who aren't familiar, what does that mean?
There are approximately 70 million people suffering with digestive issues like this in U.S. only. U.S. only.
Just in the U.S. Jeez.
And there's 170 diseases that are connected to gut health.
Wow.
And you'd be really surprised at some of those diseases and some of the symptoms that are connected to gut health. It's common everyday things because the gut has so much impact on our body. What ulcerative colitis is you'd have this GI tract. And what it is it's a long muscle that runs from the esophagus down to the rectum. And that entire thing is made of skin, fat, and muscle, right?
Yeah.
Contained within the tissue are blood vessels and nerves, okay?
Mm-hmm.
On top of this tissue lies a lining. It's called a mucosal lining.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes all the way across, all the way down the GI tract.
Okay.
What happens with ulcerative colitis is that lining becomes damaged.
Okay.
Now makes the tissue beneath it and the nerves and the blood vessels vulnerable to the stomach acids and the food.
That's bad. Yeah.
Stomach acids begin to eat away, and they eat holes through the tissue into where the nerves and the blood vessels are, which cause ulcers to form, which is ulcerative colitis. It causes bleeding, right? Which bleeding comes through the bowels because it comes from the colon, right?
Yeah.
And then as that gets worse, it becomes a bigger problem. It goes all the way through the tract, which is right with ulcerative colitis, it's mostly in the colon rectum area. When it becomes all the way through, then it's considered Crohn's. It's not really a different disease. It's just a different severity. So you have IBS, you have colitis, you have ulcerative colitis. Colitis is when you haven't had the ulcers yet. It hasn't penetrated through those tissues, but it's begun to damage the lining. Ulcerative is the next level of severity where you now have ulcers. It's going in and eating holes through the tissue itself. And then Crohn's is where it's containing all the way through the tract. So,
oh my gosh, because
I don't tell you that. The doctors can't tell you all of that.
No, no.
That's what I have learned through this journey. I was diagnosed in 2012. So it's been a journey of learning, and
yeah.
And so once that happens, having just medicine, which was what I was prescribed, 9 pills a day for the rest of my life. And there was no chance of me getting off the medication. I'm not to dare try to get off the medication. That's what I was told by this doctor. And he said,
don't get off the medication.
No, he said, don't even try. And he said, no matter what you do with exercise or diet, it will not make any difference. You're going to be on 9 pills a day for the rest of your life. And as I studied this illness, I saw people dying, people on chemotherapy, people having major portions of their gut removed, all the organs, the colon, right?
Oh.
Having it removed.
Oh my goodness. Serious
stuff. And I'm like, it's not for me. And that's why, as a teacher of music and theater, I dove into health and wellness, and I became a board certified health coach, life coach, and essential oil coach.
Nice.
As I myself figured out my own path, I was not going to go with those paths. Those were not for me, right? No. I'm one who believes, and I think everyone needs to do this. You need to take charge of your health. You can't leave your health to a doctor or anyone else. You need to take charge of your health. You need to go with your gut. You need to go with what you believe is right for you. And for me, that wasn't my path. I knew I had to find a different path, and I did. And through that process, I learned all about this illness that they don't understand. The doctors don't know. If you look up online, nothing is known. There's no known cause. There's no known cure. They don't understand what it is. Some say it's autoimmune. Some say it's not. They don't understand. But I have full clarity now, and it's totally makes sense. And through that process, I've been able to go through a protocol that has been able to heal that. And I've been off all meds for over 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
I was on that medication about a year, and I weaned off it on my own. I just took off 1 pill a month, or 2 pills. And when I did that, I told my doctor I was going to wean off it carefully. And they said, you shouldn't. And they go, when the symptoms come back, you need to get back on it. So there was no option really. But what I did, I weaned off it, and I had no symptoms. I managed it. And so it's been really a beautiful journey. And I have learned so much about myself and my body. And I know how to listen to my body. And it's just, it's really been beautiful. It's been a gift in my life.
Yeah.
It's horrible going through some of the symptoms. Horrible. And but now I can help others. And that's what I love about it. I'm able to give, and through that be blessed.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I love it. And I just want to throw this out there for people listening. Has anybody else out there, whatever the condition is, has anybody been told that Has anybody been sitting there eyeball to eyeball with the doctor, with the medical people, and they said, you have to do this for the rest of your life. It's incurable. You're never going to be rid of this. Has anybody experienced that? Because in some ways, like I know I'm never going to be rid of mine, but it's everybody's different, right? Because every condition is different. But I'm just curious if you have, put a comment if you're watching like on Facebook or YouTube. I'd love to know. We'd love to talk to you, and I'm sure Lori would love to be in touch with you. So let us know. Reach out. So now, man, that was a lot.
Sorry.
You kind of woo, man. So are there other? So what other kinds of? So there's ulcerative colitis, but then we were talking about. Would you say Crohn's?
Yeah.
So what other kinds of colitis? Like colitis is kind of a.
Yeah, what I've learned is it's really a term, AIB, acquired inflammatory bowel. And they don't call it this, but acquired means that it was acquired. It's not genetic. It's not your immune system attacking itself. That is not what these are. What it is it's acquired inflammatory bowel, and it includes the 5 main common names that medical field has given them. There's IBS or IBD, which is inflammatory bowel syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Then the next level of severity is colitis. Okay. And then the next, it's like burns, 1st, 2nd, 3rd degree burns, right? So you've got severity is colitis. Then it's ulcerative colitis, when colitis now starts to form ulcers because the stomach acid is eating through the tissue and getting to the nerves and the blood vessels, right? And then the next level is Crohn's. And then there's chronic constipation. Those are what are all encompassed in acquired inflammatory bowel. And with, like I said, with Crohn's, it's just that it's now extending the entire GI tract.
Yeah.
It's beyond just ulcerative colitis is now expanded out. Those are all. And then with ulcerative, they also give them the name of mild. They give them the name of left-sided or right-sided, or, those terms. But it's just terms that they're trying to describe something that they're really not sure what it is.
It's that, and maybe they're just trying to make you feel better. Like it's, because they want you to think that they know, or I don't know. I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I mean, we without medical professionals, some of us wouldn't be here. But I get it. Sometimes they're just practicing, and they have to have a term for something, because everybody, when you're in a crisis situation and you don't know what it is.
And they're an authority figure as a doctor.
But it feels better to have a term put to it, it's instead of just this mystery thing.
Yeah.
So I get it. But no, you're right. And it's an authority thing too sometimes. It's like, I know what this is, and here's what it is, and this is what you're going to do.
They can't know everything, and I totally get it. But sometimes there are cures to things that they don't know about. And that's what I have found out with this illness. And it's been amazing. And honestly, recently I was talking to one of the doctors and telling him about my journey and how I had ulcerative colitis. And in their mind, you have it still. And
it's just in remission or whatever.
Yeah. And he asked me, he goes, what do you think caused it? And when I gave him my answer, he nodded and he goes, you know what? I think you're right.
Whoa.
That was the first time I've heard a doctor do that. And I was like, I know.
Well done.
Because it makes sense. I understand it. I can explain it. It makes sense,
Oh my goodness. Well,
so it's been a life-changing and very educational journey.
Absolutely.
I've learned so much.
Well, I can't wait to, we're in the next segment. I know time flies when you're having fun, and we are already at the end of our first segment, but we are going to, so we're going to take a break here just for a minute or two, but everybody watching, stick around, because we're going to find out there's some natural solutions that Lori employed to be able to basically defy medicine. Really is what you did. You said, oh, that's the diagnosis. Yeah, I don't think so. So I can fix it. So we're gonna go to a break. I'm actually Lori, we'll be right back with you in just a second.
Okay,
after the break. See you in just a second.
Okay.
And here we go. We're going to go to a commercial, and then after that, I can't wait for you to hear more of her story. So Here we go. We'll see you soon. Back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. I want to bring Lori back. Hey, Lori.
Hey.
And we're back. Time flies when you're having fun. And man, that was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That was, I mean, I totally related to a lot of the stuff you said because I'm totally with you. I'm in that medical world too. You know, I've got an invisible condition myself, so I totally get it. You were told, you were talking about this before the break. You were told this was incurable and you were going to be on, what'd you say, 9 pills a day for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And you said, and I know we kind of covered this a little bit, but what did they say? What did they say? Did they say that something caused it, or what did they say there? Like, where did this come from?
They have no clue. They had no clue what it came from. They don't know what caused it. I do now. And I had an idea then, but I know now, and I was right. But they said, you know, that you're going to be on these 9 pills a day. Now, these are not 9 healthy supplements. That's not what those are.
No.
And those pills weren't curing my problem. They weren't fixing my problem. That's why I couldn't get off them, right? I couldn't get off them or I would have everything come back. It would all be bad again. It was a Band-Aid that was going to help with some of the symptoms, but it would not be fixed. It would not be fixed. And I knew I had to find something to go to the root cause. That was always important to me. And since I've become a board certified health coach, that's become even more important to understand root causes. And they couldn't give me any information on what it was really. They just had a term for it. They didn't know where it came from. There's all kinds of controversial stuff online when you look it up, what it is and what it comes from. And most of it is like, we really don't know. So no, they had no clue, but they did tell me that I would not be able to get off the medication because everything would be back. It wasn't going to fix it. There was no cure. And I wouldn't live with that. That wasn't good enough for me, you know?
I'm not crazy about that either. I mean, I can relate in one way. I've never had anything like what you're talking about, but there was one time after a surgery, after a couple surgeries, series of 2 surgeries a few years ago, and I had nonstop migraines for over a year as a result of whatever it was. I don't know. Every time you go in for brain surgery, it's like a traumatic brain injury, right? So that it kind of makes it angry. And you never know what's going to happen. And this time it was migraines. And the doctor, I kept going back to the doctor, and this is where I was going with this, is I kept going back to the neurosurgeon saying, I have migraines and I can't get rid of them. What is going on? And he said, well, I guess you're going to have to live with headaches.
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. And I said, no. And I was the same thing with you. I said, nope, we're going to look. Okay, so obviously medicine's not the answer. Where else can we look? And that is important because I don't think enough people, well, maybe more people are figuring it out now, but there was a time that it was like, just do what the doctor says and don't ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right.
that's not the case anymore.
A lot of people still do.
Yeah. I mean, I know plenty of people who still do. Yeah, it's still a thing in maybe it's a generational thing. I have no idea, but it's not so much anymore though. I mean, a lot of people with the internet, with all the research out there and everything. I mean, good Lord, you're walking testimony of it. So, so was there any, I mean, what did you find when you, let me think, was there anything you found to be helpful, and where did you find these solutions? Like what did you start finding that was like, oh, this is working?
At the very beginning, I did a few things. I dove in and studied essential oils and started using those every day. We still use them in our home. I began to change the way I was eating, and I've always been pretty conscious about being healthy. But what I did was I got rid of all the dairy, all the grain, all the processed foods. I went to organic produce. I went to grass-fed meats. I started really focusing on the cleanliness of the diet, the portion size, and trying to do a little more movement. Just because I knew those were good for me anyway, right?
Yeah.
And as I did those things, I also started studying herbs and using some of the herbs that I, making some drinks with herbs and things that I would use, which were really immune boosting and really healthy.
Okay.
Those were some of the things I began with. Of course, I did a lot of study, and of course, I went through training programs to become board certified. And I learned a lot of things there. I did not learn the ultimate way to cure myself there, which was interesting. It came later. But I was able for about 6 years to completely manage with very few symptoms. And I honestly was feeling like I was pretty much done with it until 2019. So I was diagnosed in 2012.
Okay.
I had managed pretty well. I had some symptoms, and when it would hit, it was really tough in school. When I was going through that, it was really hard for me. But majority of that time, I managed pretty well, and I continued studying. I continued working on it. I learned from people who had been through it and what they did. I tried some of their shakes and things like that they used. I really played with a lot of different ways of eating, because certain foods, when you have this illness, will aggravate it. Stresses will aggravate it. Those are not causes of it, but they will aggravate it. And I learned that through experience. In 2018, I went through an event where it was becoming very stressful in work. My mother's health was failing her. I knew I needed time freedom to be with her. I went to an event, and at that event, I was inspired to let go of my career as a teacher and to focus on life, on love and connection, and to focus on becoming free to give. I knew I had to do those three things. And so my next part of my journey led me into those three things. And a month later, I let go of my career as a teacher. Wow. I began this concept of idea of coaching because I was now board certified. I'd been through this journey. And so I went that next year going into learning marketing skills and promoting myself as a coach. And then in 2019, I went on a trip to Italy. A little before that, I had felt kind of sick, which was rare because this whole time I was not sick. When you're doing things naturally, your body is happier, right?
True.
You don't get sick as much, and I hardly ever got sick. But I remember I got a little sick before that trip, and then I went on the trip to Italy. When I came back, my mother's health plummeted, and stress began. I had to take a lot of the responsibility of caring for her, but also getting her into a facility for 24-hour care, dealing with the hospital stuff she was going through, getting rid of her home, and going through the things it was extremely stressful, and it triggered a bunch of the symptoms to come back. And that's when I knew I was not healed. I knew I was just managing. I wasn't healed. I wasn't done with this journey. And for 3 months, I couldn't eat food. I was on shakes. I couldn't eat. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible moment in my life as far as the frustration, because I was feeling like I was almost there. And then at this time, it felt like it was just all starting over. And when was dealing with that. That was March, April, May. Like the 1st or 2nd of June. I mean, it was the very beginning of June. I was praying for an answer, praying for help. And I came across a natural gastroenterologist on Facebook. Facebook does good things, I will tell you.
I've found a lot of cool people on Facebook. Yeah, say what you want about social media, but if you use it for good, sometimes it's good.
And that's what I do.
Yeah.
I found this doctor, and I started reading about what his ad was and listened to his philosophy. And immediately I was filled with hope and light. I knew this was it. This is what I had been searching for. And I called him. I immediately started his protocol. Now, when I found that, I looked at his reviews and people's testimonials, because I do that. Yeah. And there was the first one that came to me was a lady. She had a son who was a teenager. Mm-hmm. Her son had been diagnosed with severe Crohn's all the way through the body.
Whoa. It
was severe. Okay. And he went on this protocol and then got retested, colonoscopies, all of the works, everything they do for Crohn's.
Yeah.
Doctors could find nothing, like he had never had it ever.
What?
And he had it for years, severely. And when he finished the protocol, it was unnoticed, it was unseen. And that to me makes me wonder why the doctors can say there's no cure, there's no treatment that works, because it does. And so when I read that, it was like, this is the person I need to talk to. I need to learn from. So I began this protocol. And his protocol, I mean, it just makes sense. It's all about replacing the mucosal lining that has been damaged.
Yep.
So that it keeps that stomach acid from eating into the tissues and causing the bleeding, the mucus, the pain, the ulcers, right?
Yeah.
And it made sense. And so that's what I did. I've been off all of it. I've been through all of that now, rebuilt everything. It's just incredible. Yet the medical field still doesn't accept it. He's been doing this for 40 plus years. He's been healing, 98% success rate.
Wow.
Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, chronic constipation, every one of those gut issues.
Wow.
He's been healing for 40 plus years. And they've been retested, many of these people, and it's been gone. And it's just like, okay, what is the process I need to do to rebuild this mucosal lining? Because this is where I'm at. This is what I need to do. And I got on that program. I went through the program, and it's been incredible. I can eat everything I want now. I don't have to have anything, any restriction. And so it's been such an incredible journey, but that truly was a blessing and an answer to prayer. But what I really loved through that journey, those years of managing, I was learning that entire time. I was learning, I was experiencing, I was figuring out what my body needed, what it didn't need, what supplements helped my body, what didn't help. I was a learning process.
Yeah.
I've learned so much. And, it just was a gift. I mean, it's been a beautiful gift, and it's taught me, it taught me where I got, what the cause was. I fully understand where the cause was, and I can take you through that journey if you want.
Well, and sometimes when you were doing good for a little bit, right, and then stress hit, and then it got bad, and that kind of like, because sometimes you go through that, and then it's kind of like takes a break or whatever. You think you find something to manage it, and then you're like, was that, like, come on, be honest with me. Was there ever a time during that period where you're like, was that real, or was that just in my head? Was that, like, seriously, like, now that we've got this under control, it's like, was that really a thing, or was it physical, or was it, I mean, did you ever play any games like that with your brain? I mean, did it ever kind of make you wonder?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I just, for me, it was just really, I dove into this learning journey to understand it, to figure it out. When the doctors would tell me they really don't know what the cause, they don't know what these, I had to figure that out. That was just kind of the way I am, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
But I really, I've always known, Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. the gut, when you study it, and I've gone through advanced courses in gut health now, I have a full understanding of that part and how it's really a brain in itself. It's separate from your brain. It responds and acts directly together, connected. And it does impact every organ and every system in the body.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense when something goes off there, it starts to send signals and everything starts to go off. And that's what was happening. I was getting those signals, and stress, as I have learned over the years, triggers everything bad in your body. It can trigger anything. And so when you add that into the situation, it was too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
But
stress will just it's like a little bomb that goes off in your body a little bit,
Yeah.
Whatever's hovering right below the surface is going to come right out in the open if you stress takes over.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows stress is unhealthy, but I don't think people know how bad.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
It can get.
But you really do want to learn how to manage stress and how to have peace in your life. And I do now. Every day, I am just so grateful what I do now. The life I have created for myself, and this is what I try to help create for others, is based around what I call the 5 freedoms. And it just brings peace to your soul. And it allows you to do what you love to do every day. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Wow. I'm so excited for you. That's so cool. And I know I still have so many questions that I want to ask you, but we're going to have to do that. I might have one more if we can do, but if we can, just to kind of lead into the next segment with this other stuff, was there one thing? I mean, you mentioned, or I mentioned about you challenge consultant was one of the things that you do. Was there something like a particular thing that set you like on that led you to become, that kind of went down that road? Something.
When I left my career and I knew I had to focus on love and connection and becoming free to give, I received clarity on these 5 freedoms that I just mentioned. And the 5 freedoms are the freedom of health, which is always first, because without your health, nothing matters. The freedom of time, the freedom of location, the freedom of purpose, and the freedom of finance.
Oof.
I didn't have any of those when I was a teacher.
No,
I didn't
not
have
many
any.
Teachers do.
But now I'm working on my 5th one. I have 4 of the 5.
Wow.
And part of that 5th one has been my journey towards this challenge consulting. When I stepped out and began coaching, I knew I had to go global. I knew I didn't know marketing. So I dove in for a few years, focusing on marketing skills, learning from the best mentors in the world, and learning how to build sales funnels, how to do social media ads, how to do email marketing, all of the marketing strategies. It led me into challenge marketing, which is now the top strategy today for marketing businesses. Most industry leaders use it. And I learned directly from and was certified by the industry leader himself.
Wow.
Which for me was a gift to help me get some of that financial freedom to be able to create what happened next in my life.
Man. And
that was my foundation.
And I am so excited to talk about that, because that is when we were talking before this call, and kind of that's when you kind of lit up, was talking about the foundation and all the stuff and all the cool stuff you get to do now. So that is what we're going to talk about on the other side of the break in the last segment of the show. So we stick around, everybody, because this is the really cool part. This is, as if we haven't heard some cool stuff already, but this is really fun. So stick around, come back on the other side of the break, and we're gonna hear Lori talk about the really good, really cool stuff that she's doing now. So we will see you on the other side of this next break. We'll see you soon.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Right. Welcome back, everybody, for our last segment. All right, Lori, here we go. I want to ask you about something that we didn't get to in the last segment, but I feel like is important. There are a couple catchphrases that I wanted to throw out there that you have that I want everybody to know what they are. One of them is the obstacle is the way, and the other one is the giver truly is the receiver. So what I mean, the second one's a little clear, like I kind of get maybe what that means, but the obstacle is the way. That makes. Tell me about that. That makes no sense to me. What does that mean?
Well, honestly, if I didn't have that illness, I wouldn't be here today.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't be alive today if I hadn't gone through the decisions that I made to go get diagnosed and to find my own path.
Yeah.
I may have gone through surgeries and had my gut removed and then had all of the complications and issues from that. I can't even imagine, right?
Yeah.
The obstacle is the way, because what happens is, as I look back in my life and I look at all the trials, and I've been through a lot of different life trials, honestly. If I've taught about this before.
Yeah.
If I were to go into that would be a whole other story for another time.
Maybe another show. Yeah.
As I've gone through those trials, they have led me to become the person I am today. They have helped me to learn what I needed to learn to do the things I'm doing now. Every one of those things, the illness, the decision to leave my career and step away from my full-time job that I thought was my path, to go in and to focus in on learn, a whole new industry of stuff. All of those skills have helped me become the person I am to share in the foundation. I use all of it. I use all of the things I've learned to help people and bless lives as I serve people around the world. So everything, all of those trials from the time I was young, all of the trials, I have analyzed all of them.
Yeah.
One of my first trials, when my father lost his business, he had to close his business. We had to move. I had to let go of my educational career. I was going to be going off to university at that time, and I had to let go of that to support my parents and go with them. And all of those trials have led me here where I am today, and it would be a completely different life now.
Wow.
So for me, the obstacle is the way. And I think they're given to us as blessings. They bless our lives because we learn, we grow, we become better by going through them.
I love that.
And so I'm grateful for the obstacles I've had. There were moments where it was extremely painful and extremely scary and a lot of fear.
Yeah.
But you can live by fear or you can live by faith. And I have learned to live by faith. I don't live in fear. And there have been many times the doctors that actually have put me in places where I could have been living in fear and made the wrong choice. And I chose to live by faith and keep hope in my life. And it has been major. It has been major for me.
Well, that's where the medical community kind of, like I said, I love, wonderful, good doctors in hospitals, but they do operate, and it's not even their fault really that they operate from fear sometimes because they don't always know what they don't know what they don't know. And so when they project that to a patient, then that automatically the first instinct is to be fearful because it's the unknown, right? So, but it doesn't have to be. Fear doesn't have to be your go-to,
And it's a choice. You have to choose not to live in that fear, not to stay in that stuck position. If you feel it's not the path you want to go on, if it's not leading to a life you want to live, you have the choice to change it and to seek out and do what it takes, take the action it takes to make that path change for you.
Right? Exactly. I mean, so speaking of Speaking of hope, you kind of breezed right past that word a minute ago, and I wanna come back to it, because that's what we're all about here, is hope. With everything that you've been through and all the crazy and all the obstacles, how do you find hope day to day?
When you live by fear, you have hope. I mean, when you live by faith, you have hope. Let me correct that.
There it is.
When you live by fear, you do not have hope. Okay, sorry.
No.
When you live by faith, you have hope. You know there's a better way. You seek it. And I don't think, there may have been in 2019, there may have been a moment where I lost hope right before I found that natural gastroenterologist that I worked with. When I was diagnosed, I contemplated it, but I really didn't lose hope. I just knew I was determined to find a difference. And I started working at that. So, I mean, rarely through this journey did I ever lose hope.
Good.
I hit some roadblocks. I hit some obstacles trying to figure it out.
Sure.
But I didn't lose hope. I knew there was a way, and I was just determined to keep pressing forward and find it. And I think you really have to make that choice. You have the choice, and
Yes.
a lot of people just don't make that choice. They don't choose that way. But everyone has the ability to choose that way. And even if you aren't fully educated, I wasn't educated in this stuff.
Yeah.
But I was determined to learn it because it impacted my life. And I knew I had more to do in my life, and I couldn't just let it go. So I just worked at it, and that's maybe part of who I am, because I'm very driven in the performing arts. You have to be, right?
That's true.
But I was very determined, and I just believed in my heart that I would find a better way. And I kept working at it till I did.
And you did.
And I did. It's been amazing.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
I love it. I mean, if somebody watching can't listen to that and go, pick me, I want to know what you did, like, come on, that's insane. I mean, honestly, I kind of want to talk to you more about that now. Everybody should.
Happy to share, honestly. I'm happy to share.
Yeah. I mean, everybody reach out to Lori. Oh my gosh. So with everything that you've, all the next step, I know you were talking about, kind of hinting at it the last segment. So the next thing is your global movement and your nonprofit that you created through all of this. I mean, you have made so much out of this trial. It's just insane. Tell us about this movement and this nonprofit that you've got.
It was during the coaching journey, and this wouldn't have happened if I was still teaching, right? All of the things that happened led me to be able to do what I'm doing. The love and connection, focusing for 5 years on love and connection in my life, led me to be able to love people all over the world in every circumstance. It's been amazing. I traveled the world, and I hug all these people, and it's just so beautiful. We have, in this past year and a half, almost year and a half now, we have saved over 60 lives from malaria, typhoid, and getting life-saving surgeries. We have rescued a baby from the street that was deserted. She was a 6-month-old. We've provided burials for 8 people, 7 children, and then a single mom. We have provided, taken people from poverty, helped them create businesses and get in apartments where they could be self-reliant. We have helped people get their educational path down that were in poverty. I'm training people all the time on building businesses who are in poverty to get them out of that economic state. We're building training centers. We're building learning centers for children in Pakistan, even a library and learning center for 50 children there. We're building garden spaces. We're building a training center in Uganda where we're training single moms who are on the street, who have no education. They're going to be learning sewing and beauty salon skills so they can create businesses of things that they love to do. We've taken orphans and got them into a soccer club. I've created a soccer club in Nairobi, Kenya. It's now, instead of 5 orphan boys where we started, it's now 80 boys and girls. And they are being invited to play internationally. It's impacting the whole country. It's so beautiful. We're working with the veterans. We're working with the school systems here in the States. We're working with the homeless. It's just been unbelievable what we've been able to accomplish this year. And to be able to do that every day as well as helping people in their business and marketing, because now I'm skilled and certified in that. All of those things, the health, the life, the business, I'm using all of those as I serve people. And I'm on Zoom calls with people all over the world every day. And it's just amazing to be able to do this, and none of this would have been happening if I hadn't gone through that experience in 2012.
Yeah.
I would have still been teaching, I would have been sick, or I would have been gone, right? So, I mean, it's just, the obstacle is the way. It redirected my path to where I needed to be at this time in my life. And I knew immediately when I let go of that career, and I still perform. You can see I still perform all the time. I still conduct, but I don't teach full time, right? So when I let go of that career, I knew instantly I was on the path I needed to be on, but I had no vision of where I was going. I never saw the foundation or the challenge marketing at all. I just kept saying yes to the mentors, the people that came into my life, the people that needed me to serve them, which led me to Africa and other countries in Africa, as well as Pakistan. I mean, just saying yes when you're inspired to do something has led me to what I'm doing today. And it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Every morning, I just love what I get to do. I feel blessed.
It's incredible. I can't wait for it's like, there's some people you just can't wait for the next phone call. That's this right here. I can't wait to talk to you about some more stuff now, because there's more to do.
Sure.
There's more that we can partner with. So speaking of that, people watching how can you not be inspired to reach out to you now? How do people reach out to you to learn more about the foundation, the movement, all the stuff you're doing? How can they find you?
There's a variety of ways. You can go to my Facebook pages, which I'm on all the time. I do a lot there. I am on LinkedIn as well. I have LoriLandin.com, and I have the LoriLandinFoundation.org websites that you can go to. You're welcome to reach out to me by cell phone. My cell phone is 916-660-2039. 916-660-2039. Text me, let me know you'd like to talk. I'll set up a Zoom call with you. I will do a free, just a call, probably an hour. We'll talk, however long. We'll just chat, because I'm happy to help people. That's what I'm all about. I'm about sharing and serving. So.
And what's the name of the foundation again?
The Lori Landin Foundation. We pronounce it Landin, but it looks like Landin. So either one is fine.
Okay.
Landin, easier for people, that's fine. The LoriLandinFoundation.org is the website. And we are rebuilding the website, but it is there for you. You can connect to us, or you can use LoriLandin.com, and that can also connect to me.
Okay.
But feel free to reach out by cell phone. I'm happy to talk with you and set up a Zoom call and meet with you, and just share. I mean, there's so much to share. And I really
is.
That relationship, priceless relationship. It's all about relationships. And this came probably even more so when I focused on love and connection. But it's true. It's the most important thing to me. So I'm happy to help and meet with you. Absolutely.
It is awesome. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm so thankful that we have been connected through mutual, business acquaintances and different things. And I mean, there's no such thing as a chance acquaintance. I mean, there just isn't. So there's no such thing. I don't care what anybody says. So, but thank you, Lori. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your time and your story. And I can't wait to have you come back and tell us what you've been doing. And just thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
We'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, that was amazing. Reach out to her. That's all I can say. Just reach out to her. You got her phone number, for crying out loud. So, thank you. Thank you, Lori. Man, join us next for our next show on the 7th of July. Another Lori, actually. Her name is Lori too. Lori Hammond on Friday, July 7th. She is going to be talking to us about how she has conquered IIH, or she calls it a pseudo tumor. Can't wait for you to hear her story. Have an amazing day, and we will we'll see you on the next show.